Judges chapter 4, Deborah and Barak. And the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord after Ehud died. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jebin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Israel. The commander of his army was Sisera, who dwelt in Archdiocese. Then the people of Israel cried to the Lord for help, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and oppressed the people of Israel cruelly for 20 years. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife Lapidot, was judging Israel at that time. She used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel came up to her for judgment. She sent and summoned Barak, the son of Abinoam, from Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, The Lord, the God of Israel, commands you, go gather your men at Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the tribe of Naphtali and the tribe of Zebulun. And I will draw out Sisera, the general of Jebin's army, to meet you by the river Kishon with his chariots and his troops, and I will give him into your hand. Barak said to her, If you will go with me, I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road on which you are going will not lead to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hands of your men. Then Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh, and Barak summoned Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and 10,000 men went up at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now Eber, the Kenite, had separated from the Kenites, the descendants of Reuben, the father-in-law of Moses, and had pitched his tent as far away as Oak in Zananim, which is near Kadesh. When Sisera was told that Barak, the son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera called out all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the men who were with him, from Archdiocese to the river Kishon. And Deborah said to Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord has given Sisera into your hand. Does not the Lord go out before you? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men following him. And the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army before Barak at the edge of the spot. And Sisera alighted from his chariot and fled away on foot. And Barak pursued the chariots and the army to Archdiocese, and all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the spot. Not a man was left. But Sisera fled away on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Eber, the Kenite, for there was peace between Jebin, the king of Israel, and the house of Eber, the Kenite. And Jael came out to meet Sisera and said to him, Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me, have no fear. So he turned aside to her into the tent, and she covered him with a rug. And he said to her, Pray, give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. So she opened a skin of milk and gave him a drink and covered him. And he said to her, Stand at the door of the tent, and if any man comes and asks you, Is anyone there? Say no. But Jael, the wife of Eber, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand and went softly to him and drew the peg into his temple till it went down into the ground, as he was lying fast asleep from weariness. So he died. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael went out to meet him and said to him, Come, and I will show you the man whom you are seeking. So he went into a tent, and there lay Sisera dead, with a tent peg in his temple. So on that day God subdued Jebin, the king of Canaan, before the people of Israel, and the hand of the people of Israel bore harder and harder on Jebin, the king of Canaan, until they destroyed Jebin, king of Canaan. Judges chapter 5. the song of Deborah. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, on that day, that the leaders took the lead in Israel, that the people offered themselves willingly. Bless the Lord. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes, to the Lord I will sing. I will make melody to the Lord, the God of Israel. Lord, when thou didst go forth from Seir, when thou didst march from the region of Edom, the earth trembled and the heavens dropped. Yeah, the clouds dropped water. The mountains quaked before the Lord, beyond Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Anath, in the days of Jael, caravans ceased and travelers kept to the byways. The peasantry ceased in Israel, they ceased until you arose. Deborah arose as a mother in Israel. When new gods were chosen, then war was in the gates. Was shield or spear to be seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart goes out to the commanders of Israel who offer themselves willingly among the people. Bless the Lord. Tell of it who ride on tawny asses, you who sit on rich carpets, and you who walk by the way. To the sound of musicians at the watering places, there they repeat the triumphs of the Lord, the triumphs of his peasantry in Israel. Then down to the gates march the people of the Lord. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake, utter a song. Arise, Barak, lead away your captives, O son of Abinoam. Then down marched the remnant of the noble, the people of the Lord, marched down to him against the mighty. From Ephraim they set out thither into the valley, following you, Benjamin, with your kinsmen. From Machir marched down the commanders, and from Zebulun those who bear the marshal's staff. The prince of Issachar came with Deborah, and Issachar, faithful to Barak, into the valley. They rushed forth at his heels. Among the clans of Reuben there were great searchings of heart. Why did you tarry among the sheepfold to hear the piping of the flocks? Among the clans of Reuben there were great searchings of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan, and Dan, why did he abide with the ships? Asher sat still at the coast of the sea, settling down by his landings. Zebulun is a people that jeoparded their lives to the death. Naphtali too, on the heights of the field. The kings came, they fought, then fought the kings of Canaan at Tanak by the waters of Megiddo. They got no spoils of silver. From heaven fought the stars. From their crosses they fought against Sisera. The torrent Kishon swept them away, the on-rushing torrent, the torrent Kishon. March on, my soul with might. Then, loud, beat the horses' hoofs with the galloping of his steeds. Curse Meroz, says the angel of the Lord, curse bitterly its inhabitants, because they came not to the help of the Lord, to the help of the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Abel the Kenite, of tent dwelling women was blessed. He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought him curds in a lordly bowl. She put her hand to the tent peg, and her right hand to the workman's mallet. She struck Sisera a blow. She crushed his head, and she shattered and pierced his temple. He sank, he fell. He lay still at her feet. At her feet he sank, he fell. There he sank, there he fell, dead. Out of the window she peered. The mother of Sisera gazed through the lattice. Why is this chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the hoofbeats of his chariots? Our wisest ladies make answer. Nay, she gave answer to herself. Are they not finding and dividing the spoil? A maiden or two for every man, spoil of dyed stuff for Sisera, spoil of dyed stuff embroidered, 2 pieces of dyed work embroidered for my neck as spoil. So perish all thine enemies, O God, but thy friends be like the sun as he rises in his might. And the land had rest for 40 years. Judges chapter 6. The Midianite oppression. The people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord gave them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed over Israel, and because of Midian, the people of Israel made for themselves the dens which are in the mountains, and the caves, and the strongholds. For whenever the Israelites put in the seed, the Midianites and the Amalekites and the people of east would come up and attack them. They would encamp against them and destroy the produce of the land as far as the neighborhood of Gaza, and leave no sustenance in Israel, and no sheep or ox or ass. For they would come up with their cattle and their tents, coming like locusts for number. Both they and their camels could not be counted, so that they wasted the land as they came in. And Israel was brought very low because of Midian, and the people of Israel cried for help to the Lord. When the people of Israel cried to the Lord on account of the Midianites, the Lord sent a prophet to the people of Israel, and he said to them, Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, I led you up from Egypt and brought you out of the house of bondage, and I delivered you from the hand of Egyptians and from the hand of all who oppressed you, and drove them out before you, and gave you their land. And I said to you, I am the Lord your God. You shall not pay reverence to the God of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but you have not given heed to my voice. The call of Gideon. Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the oak of Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, as his son Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. And Gideon said to him, Pray, sir, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this befallen us? And where are all his wonderful deeds which our fathers recounted to us, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has cast us off and given us into the hand of Midian. And the Lord turned to him and said, Go in this might of yours and deliver Israel from the hand of Midian. Do not I send you? And he said to him, Pray, Lord, how can I deliver Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest of Manasseh, and I am the least in my family. And the Lord said to him, But I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites as one man. And he said to him, If now I have found favor with thee, then show me a sign that it is thou who speakest with me. Do not depart from here, I pray with thee, until I come to thee, and bring out my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will stay till you return. So Gideon went into his house, and prepared a kid and unleavened cakes from an ephah of flour. The meat he put in a basket, and the broth he put in a pot, and brought them to him under the oak, and presented them. And the angel of God said to him, Take the meat and the unleavened cakes, and put them on this rock, and pour the broth over them. And he did so. Then the angel of the Lord reached out the tip of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the meat and the unleavened cakes, and there sprang up fire from the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And the angel of the Lord vanished from his sight. Then Gideon perceived that he was the angel of the Lord, and Gideon said, Alas, O Lord God, for now I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face. But the Lord said to him, Peace be to you. Do not fear. You shall not die. Then Gideon built an altar there to the Lord and called it, "The Lord is Peace." To this day it still stands at Ophrah, which belongs to the Abiezrites. That night the Lord said to him, "Take your father's bull, the second bull, 7 years old, and pull down the altar of Baal which your father has, and cut down the Asherah that is beside it, and build an altar to the Lord your God on the top of the stronghold here, with stone laid in due order. Then take the second bull and offer it as a burnt offering with the wood of the Asherah which you shall cut down." So Gideon took 10 men of his servants and did as the Lord had told him. But because he was too afraid of his family and the men of the town to do it by day, he did it by night. Gideon destroys the altar of Baal. When the men of the town rose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was broken down, and the Asherah beside it was cut down, and the second bull was offered upon the altar which had been built. And they said to one another, "Who has done this thing?" And after they had made search and enquired, they said, "Gideon, the son of Joash, has done this thing." Then the men of the town said to Joash, "Bring out your son, that he may die, for he has pulled down the altar of Baal and cut down the Asherah beside it." But Joash said to all those who were arrayed against him, "Will you contend for Baal, or will you defend his cause? Whoever contends for him shall be put to death by morning. But if he is a god, let him contend for himself, because his altar has been pulled down." Therefore on that day he was called Jerubbaal, that is to say, "Let Baal contend against him, because he pulled down his altar." Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites and the people of the east came together, and crossing the Jordan, they encamped in the valley of Jezreel. But the Spirit of the Lord took possession of Gideon, and he sounded the trumpet, and the Abiezrites they called out to follow him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, and they too were called out to follow him. And he sent messengers to Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, and they went up to meet them. The sign of the free. Then Gideon said to God, "If thou wilt deliver Israel by my hand, as thou hast said, behold, I am laying a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece alone, and it is dry on all the ground, then I shall know that thou wilt deliver Israel by my hand, as thou hast said." And it was so. When he rose early next morning and squeezed the fleece, he wrung enough dew from the fleece to fill a bowl with water. Then Gideon said to God, "Let not thy anger burn against me. Let me speak but this once. Pray, let me make trial only this once with the fleece. Pray, let it be dry only on the fleece, and on all the ground let there be dew." And God did so that night, for it was dry on the fleece only, and on all the ground there was dew.